Welcome to episode 6 of Coco vs. DWC. It's week 8 flower on my second DWC grow. The plants are showing those autumn colors, so you know what that means. It's harvest time. Drop your final weight guesses and your best drying tips in the comments. With this many plants, I can use all the help I can get. Lock in. Previously on Coco vs. DWC. We're a month into flower, and so far, these plants have been growing crazy fast, especially on the DWC side. The cocoa plants weren't far behind either. These girls have been running neck and neck, even with a few issues along the way. I started noticing yellowing, and I wanted to jump on it before it became a major problem, but I had no idea what was going on. So I did what every responsible grower does. I asked ChatGPT. Not only did I get a diagnosis, but I also got a full step-by-step plan to fix it. ChatGPT told me I had a potassium and magnesium deficiency. The quickest fix was kelp or a bloom booster for potassium and Epsom salt for magnesium. Now, I already knew about kelp. Kelp is basically a superfood for plants, a natural growth stimulant packed with hormones that can help with everything from stress resistance to nutrient uptake. This was my first time trying potassium silicate though. It's a powerful bloom booster that helps the plant grow thick stalks and big buds. It's super concentrated, so you only need about 5 milliliters per gallon. I also picked up some Epsom salt to fix that magnesium deficiency. I go easy on the magnesium during flower because too much can lock out other nutrients, but it's critical for photosynthesis. So I give them just a little to keep the plants healthy and green. On the flip side, the DWC plants were looking way better. They only had those brown tips, which, by the way, why do I always get that? So I put ChatGPT to the test again. She told me those burnt tips were early signs of potassium deficiency. And around week 5, I should start using a bloom booster. Since I'm running Remo Nutrients, I went with their bloom booster called Astroflower. It's an okay product. I've used it for a few years. It's super concentrated. It makes the buds crazy dense and kicks resin production into overdrive. Meanwhile, on the cocoa side, the yellowing continued, but it didn't stop the buds from stacking. It's going to take a little while for the nutrients to kick in, so before things get better, they might look a little worse. Day 46. We're wrapping up week 6, and I know it might sound crazy, but it's time to start getting ready for harvest. As the plants mature, the trichomes shift from clear to cloudy. If you want to harvest at peak potency, grab a microscope and watch the trichomes. Day 51. Now, with cocoa, I could sit here and say I'm washed and these plants are cooked, but instead of that, I'll just say this. This round, I learned a lot about growing organically in cocoa. Feeding them plain water can work, but you've really got to understand nutrient cycles and deficiencies, and it's a lot harder than it looks. Cocoa is a beast all on its own. You're dealing with bugs, constant moisture management, and you're always fighting the grow medium because cocoa leaches nutrients from your plants. That means you end up using more nutrients and spending more money. Now, DWC isn't perfect either. You've got to manage pH swings, and since the roots are always in nutrient water, you have to watch out for root rot and overfeeding. But in DWC, not only are there fewer problems, they're also easier to fix. It looks like I went a little heavy on the Astro flower, but the fix is simple. And since we're only a few days away from harvest, I might as well flush. I'm flushing the plants with dechlorinated tap water, pH between 5.7 and 6.0. I won't add any nutrients. That way, the plants can burn through any nutrients stored in the roots and leaves. Day 53. We're almost at the finish line, and the plants are giving it one final push. They've stopped yellowing, and now they're lush, green, and thriving. The buds are getting heavy, and those long, thick hairs are wilting and turning orange. The calyxes are fully swollen, and the resin production is out of control. Honestly, with growth like this, they could probably go another month. The plants are still very green and healthy, and there's a lot of life left in them. It's been weeks since I fed these girls, and they just keep growing. One of my favorite things about flowering is all the colors. I'm talking lime green, dark green, orange, and purple. You got all the colors of the rainbow, and it smells magically delicious. There's only a few days left in flower, so, like always, I'm gonna give them a couple of days in the dark. That'll help them burn up any extra starch in the roots. Then it's time for the big chop. Day 57. It's harvest day, and I couldn't sleep, so here I am back in the garden for one final look. We've seen them in the light, but before we chop them down, let's take one last look in the dark. This one here has been growing in the back strong this whole time. And just look at how dense those buds are. It's the same density all the way down the plant. I'm talking big buds, top to bottom. Now that the plants are all cut down, the tent's almost empty. There's just one last thing to do. And honestly, it's probably the most important step when you finish a grow. Clean and disinfect your garden. Use a peroxide or bleach solution. I know everybody hates this part, but a clean garden today means a successful future. After 24 hours, once the tent has dried out, I'll bring the plants back in. It's important to maintain proper temperature and humidity during drying. You don't want the plants drying too fast, and you definitely want to prevent bud rot. My humidity is a bit low right now, so for the first day, I'll run a humidifier to bring the levels back up. At the same time, I'm turning off the dehumidifier. And once the environment stabilizes, I'll switch off the humidifier too. With both devices off, I'll just keep a small fan running for air circulation. And in a few days, I'll trim them up and we'll see the final results. Thanks for watching. If you're feeling this series, drop a like and subscribe. And make sure to turn on those notifications because the next episode is coming up right after this.